What's good, YouTube? Dmgaming here, guys. Hope everybody's having an awesome day. Want to dive more into Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. As we know, the Bardock DLC has been announced for 2023, as well as the console upgrade for PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. Now, they haven't had word on PC yet about this upgrade, but for those who already have Kakarot on PS4 and Xbox, the upgrade will be free. And as of now, it's coming with some graphical upgrades, upgrading resolution, as well as I'm thinking 60 frames per second. So it's going to be pretty nice. I'm hoping they add some more stuff to the actual game itself. I think with them talking about the game the way that they are, with them announcing it like this, there has to be more than just some graphical upgrades, because that's something that they could just do outright. The loading screens should be obsolete. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure they're going to talk about that more in the days to come, in the months to come, because we got a while till 2023, but it'll be here before we know it. So guys, for everything Kakarot, guys, please hit the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything at all, and it helps me to continue doing what I enjoy doing and bringing you the best Kakarot information out there. So today I want to dive into this section here. You know, I talked about in the last video, go check that out, talked about the possibility, because these were the two most requested DLCs. And I also stated, like with the Cooler DLC or with the Cooler movies, people, you know, wanting Cooler, people wanting BROLY. And the way that I said that they could do that to make it fit and please us is to combine the movies into one thing. Combine the Cooler movies, both of them, into one thing. BROLY is interesting, guys. And while I don't see us going into Dragon Ball Super BROLY, just because, guys, everything has been focused around Dragon Ball Z, and I do not want to get into an argument again with people about that, because I know they're saying with the Trunks DLC, that stuff came from the Super manga. So I will say this again. Yes, it was in the Super manga. However, because it is a flashback, that flashback of events occurred in Dragon Ball, around the age of Dragon Ball Z, that is the loophole that allows them to put that into the DLC. Not to mention, guys, I did a video about this. The whole stuff with Trunks and Dabura, even though it wasn't in the anime or the manga, it was written into the Dragon Ball lore during the time of Dragon Ball Z. So that's how they're able to do that. And then with the Super Saiyan Blue and Golden Frieza, those are Dragon Ball Z movies. Now, what's interesting is, why would they, you know, them going the route of Dragon Ball Z, Fukasu no F, and Battle of Gods before ever doing any of this other stuff? So it's, you know, so this is why I'm very curious about the other two DLCs. I'm going to talk about what the fans want first, and in later videos, I'm going to get into what I honestly believe that the other two DLCs will be. Because in my opinion, guys, it doesn't make sense to backtrack. Does that make sense? Bardock isn't a backtrack. History of Trunks isn't a backtrack. You're branching off into other storylines there. So if we go with Cooler, if we go with BROLY, it doesn't make sense to backtrack. And I don't know, maybe they do surprise us and throw some Dragon Ball Super BROLY in there. I don't think they will, because like I said, this is Dragon Ball Z game. But stranger things have happened, especially in the past years that we've had. So without further ado, guys, let's get into this about the BROLY. If they do a BROLY DLC, and my biggest thing is that they combine all three of the movies together. This is going to benefit us greatly for one reason, or for several reasons, but for one of them, guys, in Bio BROLY. Now, a long time ago, before the game ever came out, gosh, I've covered over 600, almost 700 videos of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. And early before the game came out, they were asked, would the playable characters ever, would the support characters ever become playable characters? And they did say that, yeah, depending on fan feedback, etc., they do have plans to make those guys playable. Now, let's be real. Right now, Goten and Trunks are, in a sense, playable, because you can use the Gotenks fusion. And by using the Gotenks fusion, you can make Gotenks your main character. Not in the sense of training and leveling up and things of that nature, but you can play with him. Now, is that truly playable? No, it's not. But I don't know. Now, if we have a BROLY DLC, because Trunks and Goten were the main characters, in a sense, for this DLC, or for this DLC, for this movie, for this film, this is a perfect opportunity to make Goten and Trunks playable characters. And also with the Gotenks fusion, I feel like that bridge is already being built. And the setup is, honestly, it's perfect for this. Because if you do all three of the BROLY films that are in Z, it would have to include BROLY. And then with Trunks and Goten being the main characters in that, a perfect opportunity to make them playable. So this, if you want Goten and Trunks playable, guys, this is a perfect opportunity. This is the perfect door to open to make that possible. All right. So the next film is BROLY the Second Coming. You know, you got another instance where Goten is sort of a main character in the whole thing. BROLY managed to survive after being fatally wounded by Goku near the end of the first BROLY movie, which, guys, of course, you would expect that to be in there, and escaped to the planet in a Saiyan space pod that crash landed on Earth. He crashed in an icy area and got frozen and trapped in ice, and water was poured over him. He was preserved in the ice until 7 years later when Goten cries and shatters it. Goten, Trunks, and Videl were in a nearby village. So once again, you have Goten and Trunks in the limelight in this DLC. I keep saying DLC. In this movie, another movie where Goten and Trunks are at the forefront, and Videl in a nearby village searching for the Dragon Balls because Videl wanted to see Shenron. Goten cries, which broke the ice BROLY was trapped in, reminded him of Goku's cries of when they were babies, and this of course made BROLY angry. Videl was the first to be confronted by BROLY, after which Goten and Trunks joined in and fought until Gohan arrived in time to save the day. So another film in which Goten and Trunks are at the forefront. Guys, do you see that I'm building a extremely strong case that we can make Goten and Trunks playable characters through already one DLC that, if they combined all three of the BROLY movies, would give us a very extensive DLC, by the way, along with some lore, as well as with 2 new playable characters and possibly a new support character in Videl. Now, the interesting thing about this is that we know with the Bardock DLC that's coming, okay, you're gonna see Goku as a baby, but there is a high possibility that you would also see BROLY as a baby, as well as young Vegeta. It's possible. So that would in itself would open the door for a BROLY DLC. You see what I'm saying? Are they going to do it? I don't know, but the evidence is very strong. Now, my only hang up about that is in doing a BROLY DLC, you would have to backtrack as far as your characters, because even making Gohan playable, even making Goku playable in these DLCs, you're going to play with a version of them that is less than what's in the main game. So how do you benefit that? How do you make that better? You have to add something for the fans, right? Well, we know that they had a family Kamehameha, which could be made into a new family skill. You know, you have those what are they called, the rush attacks. Whenever you have your main character and 2 support characters, you do a special attack together. They even upgraded it for the Frieza DLC, but they didn't carry it over into the main game, sadly. However, Goku, Gohan, and Goten could have a new ultimate attack where they all together perform the Kamehameha. That would be really cool to add. And I don't think people would complain about having to play with a lesser version of Goku, in a sense, or a lesser version of Gohan, you know, because you're getting BROLY. It would still be cool. But for me personally, I feel like it's kind of a slap in the face to give us Super Saiyan Blue and then give us a lesser version of Goku that doesn't, you know, because all of the DLCs, including the History of Trunks, carries over into the main game. History of Trunks, his moveset, he got some new moves and it carried over into the main game. So it's possible that they could just get some new moves, that carry over into the main game. But what would those moves be? It made sense for Trunks because he had Masenko and things like that he learned from Gohan. They carried over into the main game. He got a Super Saiyan 2 transformation. They carried over into the main game. What could you possibly give Goku and Gohan? It makes sense for Goten and Trunks to have a more in-depth move set. But what do you give Goku and Gohan that would carry over into the main game that they don't already have? You see what I'm saying? So those are some of the cons as far as all of this is concerned. But the stage is, I mean, I can't think of a better stage that makes Goten and Trunks playable characters. All right. So that movie there. And then also the original, the OG, the great Broly, the legendary Saiyan. The only Dragon Ball film more popular than this one is perhaps Dragon Ball Super Broly. And this is just a site that ranks these films. Of course, you know which one is first. The original Broly film is actually quite decent, especially compared to its sequels. The plot follows the Z Fighters as they meet Broly and his father Paragus and subsequently attempt to hunt down the legendary Super Saiyan who's been wreaking havoc across different galaxies. They eventually find out that the one they've been hunting was Broly all along. It was revealed that Broly had been mentally unstable ever since he was a child. See, this could be some backstory. You can introduce Broly in the Bardock DLC, and then they can even go more into it right here. So you got to ask yourself, if they use this to set up the Broly DLC, what would be the other one? In my opinion, you could go with a Dragon Ball game, a Dragon Ball DLC that tells Goku's life as a child. I don't know. Let's not get too far off track, though. He was dangerous. He was so dangerous that even Paragus was terrified of him and had a device that allowed him to keep Broly under control. Paragus then decided to use Broly's incredible power to conquer the universe. Moreover, Broly held a grudge against Goku because the latter kept the former awake for days when they were babies. They show Goku as a child in this DLC. What makes you think they won't show Broly as well? And people are going to say, hey, who's that guy? Because remember, you know, this game was really made for the new people coming to Dragon Ball, the Dragon Ball universe from Super. So they have a lot of questions that we already know. But this opens the door for the Broly thing, okay? Goku's presence made Broly uncontrollably angry, which led to a huge battle between him and the Z Fighters. And the thing, okay, let's read the rest of this. There's plenty to enjoy about this film. The story is interesting enough. The action is among the most intense in the franchise. The major flaw is Broly himself. He portrayed as one-dimensional character who held a grudge over something simple as a baby crying for that reason. And guys, this can be easily corrected with the way that Kakarot tells stories because we can get more depth on it. You see what I'm saying? And then, of course, Dragon Ball Super Broly, which I'm not going to cover this because I'm staying in the realm of Z movies. The interesting thing about this one, guys, is even Future Trunks is there for this fight. Future Trunks is there for it. It's Future Trunks, Goku, Gohan, who I was Piccolo there or not, I can't even remember. And then, of course, Goku. You see what I'm saying? The setup is there, man. But once again, it runs into the issue of you're having to go back in time. Not only that, but what are you going to add new to the game? Because I know people are going to say, oh, make Broly playable. And hey, maybe they make it to where you play as Broly and they tell the story of Broly growing up and you have to go and fight the Z Warriors. They could do it like that. I'm going to be honest. Let me know in the comment section. And I'm going to put a poll up on the communities tab. So look out for that after you watch this video where you're going to be able to vote. Would you like to play through the Broly DLCs or the Broly movies into one DLC as the Z Warriors and have Goten and Trunks playable? Or would you rather them tell Broly's story and you get to play as Broly? Can you imagine being able to train and grow as Broly? Being able to harness his power and fight with it in a DLC? Because we do know that in Dragon Ball Super, Broly kind of takes on a different thing, okay? And here's the thing about Dragon Ball Super Broly. I'm going to tell y'all this. I didn't want to do this because I know people are going to run off with it. The loophole with Dragon Ball Super Broly is that Broly's story starts before the events of Dragon Ball Super. So you could add that in there theoretically, also because it is a film. So you can put this in the DLC because it doesn't interfere with nothing else going on in the anime and the manga. Does that make sense? Because it's a movie. You could throw that in there and it won't mess up the timeline. Because we know Super Saiyan Blue is there. Super Saiyan God Vegeta was seen in the Broly movie. It's there. Golden Frieza was seen. He's already in the game. So, guys, I'm not trying to get nobody's hopes up. And I'm going to say this personally. I think if they went the Broly route, it would be crazy dope for them to do this. The issue with this is that it directly contradicts all of this. And for that reason, I don't believe that we'll get to see this. Not so much because it's Super. That's one reason. Another reason is because of this right here. The two Brolys contradict each other. Okay? Kinda. They contradict each other in the sense of story. However, in the sense of this giving more detail as to Broly's life and how he ends up the way he is, Dragon Ball Super Broly does a good job of explaining why Broly is the way he is, and it doesn't have so much more to do with Kakarot, but more so with revenge against King Vegeta. So, man, like, dude, I'm at 15 minutes on this video, guys. I am going to have to do a bigger breakdown on this because as I'm sitting here talking about this, there's so many ideas flooding my mind. But for now, let's just stick to the Z stuff, okay? Because I'm going to do a separate video on this altogether because there's a lot of pros and cons, a lot of ups and downs, but a lot of possibilities. So stay tuned to that, guys. I appreciate y'all for staying here. If you've made it to the end of the video, man, you're amazing. I appreciate it. But guys, I got so much more great content to come. So once again, if you're new to the channel, do your boy a solid and hit that subscribe button. Till next time, y'all, thanks for watching. Peace.